Welcome back. We've got a sweet treat perfect to tuck into with a cup of tea on a Saturday morning.
We're at that time of the morning where we start getting peckish. So luckily, Chrissy Gibson from Take the Cake is here, and you are making
lemon squares.
Good morning.
So what's the difference, Chrissy, as always?
Yeah, they are a little different. This one is not your typical lemon bar. It's not a custardy, smooth lemon square. These have a bit of texture. We're using
brownie-esque texture.
Yeah, a little
bit harder, even.
A bit of a cookie base. We're using walnuts and coconut, so you've got a really nice texture.
So what's in here?
This is our base, guys. We're going to put this right into the oven, so I'm not wasting any time in getting started. This is simply 200 grams of self-rising flour. 120 grams of soft butter, and 120 grams of brown sugar, light muscovado sugar, not dark muscovado sugar. You don't want this tasting like molasses. So this is real simple. We're gonna put it in like a 9x13 casserole dish. This one's a little smaller. I kind of like them a little smaller. You can use a bigger one if you want. We're gonna put this in the oven now that it's mixed up. We're gonna press it in and put it in the oven for about 10 minutes.
Obviously, you need to press down hard because you don't want it to disintegrate when you take it out later on.
That's right. Just do it nice and firmly. I used gloves because, well, I've got more stuff to do.
And you had that at a nice low temperature too, 160.
160, thank you. So we're gonna move on, and while that's baking for 10 minutes, we're taking 240 grams of light muscovado sugar, and we're gonna add 2 beaten eggs to that, okay? And this is 20 grams of self-rising flour with just a little bit of baking powder, half a teaspoon. That's 4 grams, let's say, and then 4 grams of salt. We're just gonna kick that in and mix this up. The flour, the baking powder, that's gonna give the filling to our bars just a little bit of body, you know? So we're gonna just mix this up while it's still smooth. And honestly, if you want to just use the same bowl, you can. This is super easy.
So the difference between the dry layer that we just put down, remind us again, you had some chopped nuts or crushed nuts there.
Nope. The first layer, we did flour, light muscovado sugar, and butter.
So the difference in this time is you have a little bit of baking powder, you have the eggs as well.
Egg, yeah, and the sugar, the same sugar again, just more of the sugar.
Okay.
And what's this?
A little bit of vanilla extract, just about 4 mils, maybe half a teaspoon. And then we're gonna add 140 grams of desiccated coconut. And
my favorite.
I know, Simon, but you know what? This isn't one of those really coconutty desserts.
I know.
So I think we're going to get away with it here. We're going for texture. And then this is going to start to look drier. So what I'm going to do, because this will save us some time, we're time poor here.
And do you want it to be drier than it is?
Yeah, this is going to be a firm filling. It's not a really runny filling. We're going to have to sort of press it down. This is 190 grams of chopped walnuts. I did these in the food processor. These are nice and fine. If you like chunkier pieces of walnuts, you can do that, but I find that the texture of my bars is nicer when
it's a smoother consistency.
Do you know what I mean?
And could you use different kinds of nuts if you didn't like walnuts in there?
You know what? I don't know.
Maybe pecans or something?
I suppose you could. I've never dared make the change. These are from my childhood. These taste like my childhood, and I'm all grown up now. They still taste great.
Most of your recipes are though. Have you sort of formulated this recipe, or is this just memory from when you were a little girl?
I have stolen this recipe from. Remember, I was telling you last time I was born in Vancouver.
Yes.
Well, we had a neighbor. These are hers.
Really?
Oh, wow.
So these are literally not going to come from anywhere else.
We better name check her because she's probably watching.
Her name was Melia.
Melia,
so
thank you.
Melia, thanks.
Thanks, Mel.
Yeah, and
thanks, Amelia.
I was only a baby when we moved out of Vancouver, so I don't remember her, but I sure loved the lemon bars.
Chrissy, interesting to note that these are lemon squares, and Simon and I may have had a little bite earlier on, and you can absolutely taste the lemon. Yet, so far no lemon. So what gives?
What gives?
These are all.
Get over here.
The lemon is all in the glaze. Okay.
Right.
It is. They fool you.
It's strange that because when you taste it, you think it's in the cake.
Yeah.
They're so lemony.
How long did you leave the base layer in before you took it out?
10 minutes.
So 10 minutes. I cheated. So do as I say, not as I do.
Sure.
We bake it for 10 minutes. We're cheating today. While it's still warm, go ahead and add your filling. Okay. Put it in the oven for another 25 minutes.
Okay.
Still on 160. We're not going to make any changes to the oven temp. Here's one. that is done. After baking for 25 minutes, you're gonna take it out. Now, while the lemon bars are still hot, we're gonna add our glaze, okay?
Okay,
So,
why do we need to wait till they're still hot?
well, when your cake is still hot, it's more,
More receptive.
Well,
yeah,
absorb everything.
That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
So we want the glaze to sort of soak in. A minute ago, you guys were talking about how they were really lemony.
Yeah.
And so far, we hadn't used any lemon. It's because the lemon soaks down inside. So
Was
we're
that a
using
little bit of butter? Sorry,
yeah, so
Chrissy.
I made a mess of this little bowl, but your stomach won't know the difference, as my father used
butter
to
and
tell
icing
me.
sugar.
So we've got 170 grams of icing sugar, 20 grams of butter, melted butter,
Yeah.
and then we're going to use the juice of 1 lemon. If it's a small
that
lemon,
all?
that's it. If it's a small lemon, use 2. If it's a large lemon, use 1. And guys, whatever you do, do not use bottled lemon juice. You have
Don't
to
do
use
it.
you
Fresh
have
lemons.
to use
Use the
a
fresh
lemon.
stuff, or we'll
So,
come and get you.
if you don't have any fresh lemons at home and you want to make these, wait until you get your hands on some nice fresh lemons.
So I love the idea that you are keeping it still warm and popping this glaze on.
Yeah, really easy.
But we can see the glaze over it. It's not all going to sink in, isn't it?
Correct, it's not. And you'll notice that when you spread it out, the glaze kind of gets pooled in the corners. Now,
Yes.
if you whip this up really nice and smooth, you're not going to have any little pieces of icing sugar in there.
Sure.
And you want it nice and smooth. You don't want any chunks of icing sugar. So we're going to let these cool for 10 minutes. And then by then, some of this glaze will have sunken in. And then you slice them up.
That's what gives you that flavour in the bite. That's why I thought it was in the mix, because that has sunk through the
Yeah,
cake.
it's been absorbed.
So that is a really strong lemon flavor.
So mistakes that we make if we don't see the glaze on the top
This
is
is
because
for
we're
you.
not using enough icing sugar. Thank you very much.
Ooh.
If you don't see what?
If we're not, I've told you before that when I was making the lemon drizzle cake recipe that I have, I never see any icing sugar left on the top.
It soaks in, yeah.
So how
Maybe
do I
use a
get this
little more
glaze?
icing sugar or wait until it cools off a little bit before you drizzle it over the top. Do you want to
Okay.
I don't need a fork. I don't need a fork.
Full recipe details are up on our website, of course, as always. You can check out takethecake.ie for a full list of Chrissy Stockus. These are so different to the standard lemon drizzle cake that you would know and love. and
These
they're
used to be on
divine.
my menu, but they're not anymore. Those who have tried them love them.
Yeah, they're
Now-
absolutely delicious. What do you think? Can you taste the coconut? A little bit.
No, I can't.
Good.
And that's what I was going to say. The lemon
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I like the texture of it.
It's kind of
like
like
a bar.
brownie.
I love these. These are actually one of my favorite desserts. They are just
And you can
beautiful.
actually, when you cut into it, you
Really
can see
good.
all the different
You can see the
layers
layers.
as well, which I love.
I love the base. If you have a small pan and you curl the sort of crust up into the corners and you cut yourself a slice of that corner, if you've got a big chunk of the crust, that's the best piece in the whole pan.
You say all the right things.
Who's
Chrissy.
on
Thank
tea?
you so much.
Who's making the tea? We need to make Chrissy a
I
cup of
go
tea.
make the tea.